Welcome back to Morning Coffee. It's time for the Reputation Wrap with Gary Frisch from Swordfish Communications. I'm the Mark Cook. She's the Charlene Chamberlain.
The what?
I was going to call you Diane Chamberlain.
Oh.
Remember Cheers?
I thought you were going to call me Doll.
No. You remember? You know what's funny? I don't know why I thought of it, but I was going to call you Diane Chamberlain.
Right.
From Cheers. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe you remind me of Shelley Long or something.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it's very strange. But actually, her name is Charlene Chamberlain. But Gary, good morning. How are you today?
Hi, Gary.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm excited this morning because I get an update on my favorite boat in the history of the world, Boaty McBoatface.
Before we get to that, though, happy Earth Day.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Same
yeah,
to you.
right.
And if you're in a business that has anything to do with sustainability, the environment, recycling, or even if your business has done something, green, and you didn't capitalize on this occasion to generate some good press for your business, then you missed an opportunity. And if you were going to do that, you can't do it the day before. You got to plan for it several weeks ahead of time, and let the media know what it is you're up to.
So what he's telling you is that if you missed it this year, start planning and don't miss it next year.
Exactly.
And call Gary.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
And if you need help, call Swordfish
Right.
Communications.
Always think seasonally about how you can get your company out into the press, and it might have something to do with
And the holidays as well.
holidays, dads and grads, gift guides.
You
or
always
big
want to
thing.
align your business with something that's going to have a positive impact on it. People like Earth Day. Whether
Yes.
they actually do anything
anything.
for Earth Day
Right.
is a different story,
They'll
but
share a meme on Facebook.
yeah, they like the idea. People like the idea of Earth Day. Look, not everybody is the best at recycling and taking care of our environment, but they're going to tell you that they are all about it.
Right.
So Earth Day is a day to kind of, we'll say, take advantage of those situations.
And as importantly, the media is interested in Earth Day, and they're
Right.
willing to hear stories that tie into that occasion.
Well, I'm dying to know, Gary. Tell me about Boaty McBoatface.
Well, okay, the dictionary, if you look up Killjoy in the dictionary, you'll find a new picture next to it, and that is Joe Johnson, the Minister of Science in Britain, who has basically torpedoed the idea of calling the boat Boaty McBoatface.
How can he do that? It was a public vote.
Yeah, well, it was a public vote, but it was a non-binding public vote, apparently, and he's kind of falling back on that. He hasn't completely said no,
Right.
but he very strongly indicated that it was, quote, inappropriate for a ship of this stature. And I read that to mean he walked up to the podium wearing his ascot and top hat and said, this boat should not be named something like that, because this boat is my legacy of my role in this office, and I'd rather see a more austere name for it.
I got a better name, Titanic 2.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely a blown opportunity.
Yeah.
Here. And as we talked about before, the marketing potential and the potential to engage a younger generation of future science people could have gone through the roof.
Yeah, and it's honestly, were they going to get this type of attention if this didn't happen?
No, and you know what? They are benefiting from the whole internet poll.
Yeah.
And the fact that this kind of emerged at the top, and that gave them great press today. He said that they wanted to have a name that would resonate longer than a, quote, social media news cycle. I think that was pretty short-minded of him, though,
Yeah.
because the social media, first of all, the social media news cycle can be very powerful. Second of all, I think that if they had stuck or gone with Boaty McBoatface, they would have had a decade's worth of attention grabbing.
Absolutely.
Think of the
The
other
marketing, the advertising that can go along with
That's
that.
where I was going with that.
And you know what? There's enough time between now and the ship actually being completed and commissioned that there could have been a Disney movie tied in with the
Right.
christening of this. And now at the most they can hope for is a documentary on Nova or something.
Have they done the boats? I know they've done the cars a couple times.
They
and
haven't done
they've done the planes.
haven't done the boats.
They haven't done the boats yet, so that's a
Right,
perfect
so
opportunity.
It's a natural.
So Gary's going to be calling Pixar later and working out a deal
Yeah.
to make a new animated boat movie.
Right.
Now the second top boat getter also may not necessarily be the name of the ship, but the second top boat getter was the RRS Mommy Pie. Poppy Mai, P-O-P-P-I. Poppy Mai, M-A-I, named for an 18-year-old British girl who was diagnosed with an incurable form of cancer.
Oh.
a more austere name. It's certainly impactful, especially the story behind it. But there's no guarantee that it's going to they're going to take the name of the second top boat.
I think that Boaty McBoatface is a much catchier name.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but on the other hand, some pundits on TV, John Oliver, whomever, talked about. Can you imagine the headline if some tragedy befalls that ship? All crew members of the Boaty McBoatface were lost at sea. It's not something you can easily kind of wrap your head around.
All right, you're right. That does make it. That does change things a little bit, doesn't it?
Just a little bit.
So So how does a company basically handle something like this? The CEO is out in front and he's basically making all these statements about how he doesn't like it and he's taken his very strong position. So how do you handle something like this?
If this is a company and not a agency of the government, and you put something out for an internet vote, and internet votes don't happen spontaneously. You have to initiate them as a business. But once you go that route, you're maybe not legally beholden to the results, but kind of morally beholden to the result. And certainly from a PR and consumer standpoint, you want to heed the word of the vast majority.
Right.
And there's benefits to throwing it out there and letting the ships fall where they may.
Pun intended.
Yeah. and so if you don't go with your response, then you run the risk of looking like the killer, like this guy Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson, J.O. Johnson. Write him, tell him you want Boaty McBoatface. Maybe they'll reconsider. Doubtful, but.
If we can get everybody to make sure that Joe Johnson knows that we want Boaty McBoatface to be the boat's name.
Well, 124,000 people said they wanted Boaty McBoatface, and the first runner-up, the Poppy Mai, was 24 or 25,000 votes. So it's a big difference.
Yeah.
And you're turning your back on 124,000 people, a whole bunch of school teachers in England, and a potential generation of future science lovers.
True.
So Boaty McBoatface, happy sailing in obscurity as you crack through that Arctic ice.
We'll have to wait and see what the fate of Boaty McBoatface holds.
Yeah.
Well, we got to take a quick break. We're going to come right back on the Reputation Wrap. We've got a topic that seems to always be coming up. It's about equality.
Oh, yeah.
So stick through this commercial. We'll be right back with Gary Frisch from Swordfish Communications on Morning Coffee and the Reputation Wrap. Stick around.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at alicia@whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
And the Reputation Wrap with Gary Frisch and the Swordfish Communications, everybody. Charlene Chamberlain over there on the end. I'm Mark Cook. So,
Do you know how Swordfish got its name?
No, how does Swordfish get
is this a joke, Gary?
No, it's actually
Are you
not.
a
Oh,
fisherman?
okay.
It has nothing to do with
With fishing?
being a fisherman.
Are you a fisherman though?
I fish recreationally from time
Okay.
to time, but I don't have much success with it.
All right.
It's actually because I love aviation so much. Go figure that.
Okay, aviation and fishing,
Yeah.
two different
Yeah.
dynamics. One is down and one is up.
Yep.
Explain.
When I
Yeah.
was much younger, I wanted to join the Navy and become a pilot. Things didn't work out as I planned for various reasons, but I always thought that my call sign as a pilot should be Sword, because my last name is Frisch. Get it?
Got it.
And I go to a lot of air shows to this day, and I was with a bunch of fighter pilots at NAS Oceana in Virginia Beach during an air show one year, and they told me that you don't get to pick your own call sign. Your squadron names you when you come
Right.
into the squadron.
Right.
And he said that they would probably name me Gefilte.
Ah.
And I didn't like that so much. So,
That's really funny though.
so I fell back on my sword.
There you
And
go.
Swordfish is basically my vicarious fighter pilot name.
Right.
Now, my web designer and branding guy, when I started my business, took the swordfish concept, and I always wanted a swordfish in my logo, and took that concept and kind of ran with it and made the entire website nautical themed.
That's cool.
Right.
Which is kind of cool, and to this day, you know,
It's
I
memorable.
make changes to the website myself, and I'm keeping with that theme, and I've got a tab on there called Captain's Log that
Mhm,
lists
I know you do.
article placements I've got from my clients and stories of interest, and this is part of my website that I update frequently.
Nice.
Um,
I had no idea.
And my contact page tab says jump in, you know.
Oh, look at you.
I've got a service called News Angler.
Get hooked. You should have them get hooked.
I should have one
Yeah.
that says get hooked. So.
Classic.
That's the story behind Swordfish.
So
Right.
there was another situation this week that popped up with one of the most popular food store chains. Whole Foods is under some
Right.
fire this week, and it basically revolves around a story of somebody ordered a cake for a party, and when they received that cake, it had a very disturbing message on it.
Supposedly.
Yes, supposedly.
There's a big if here. A pastor in Austin, Texas went into his local Whole Foods to buy a cake to congratulate a member of his
Congregation.
Right. And it was a homosexual pastor, and obviously a homosexual member of the congregation who apparently was getting married, and the cake was supposed to say "Love Wins" across the top. And he purchases the cake. There's surveillance video of him checking out at the register, and a day or so later he complained that the cake actually said "Love Wins Fag." Somebody wrote the word "fag" on the cake.
Really?
And it looks like it's in the same colored icing, potentially the same handwriting, and he says that somebody at the bakery wrote that on the cake.
Wow.
He called
That's
the
pretty
store.
intense.
He called the store. At first, he got an apology.
Mm-hmm.
Only an apology?
Then he got a call back. Well, then he got a call back from the store saying nobody in our bakery wrote that on the cake, and we're standing by our bakery staff. That we
Interesting.
did not do this. He filed suit against Whole Foods, and
What type of suit? Like a discrimination suit?
yeah. And what did Whole Foods do? They filed a countersuit claiming slander.
Wow. So this is actually way more involved,
I
I
didn't
think,
know
than
it
most
was that
people
Yeah,
realize.
yes, it is. And the thinking is, if you are guilty of something, you're not going to instantaneously fire back with your own lawsuit.
Right. You're going to do your research. You're going to find out what happened.
Yeah, but they seem pretty sure that this did not happen on their part.
Well, I imagine that the bakery, as well as every other area of that store, is under video surveillance. So
I don't know if there's surveillance or that we know of the bakery, and as they were icing the cake.
I would think that there would be.
But
Gary.
one of the smoking guns here is that the price label on the cake, their policy is to put it on top of the cake box. And in the video, which I watched, you can see the cashier scanning the top of the cake box for the price. Now, this gentleman put a video out online, which has gone somewhat viral, I suppose, showing that the cake was sealed. The label now is down here at the bottom of the box, over the flap. And
Right.
that was not the position, apparently, that it would have been in when he checked it out.
But Gary, you said one more thing, that he waited a couple of days before he made the call?
No, I think it was later that day,
Oh,
or
later
a
that
day.
day. Oh,
It was
okay.
after he left the store sometime.
Oh, all right. But
other-
most people, when you pick up your cake, don't you look at it to make sure it's correct before
Yes,
you leave the
you
store?
think-
Like
you
make
think
sure
you
you got
would.
the right cake and
You'd
your
think
name's
so,
spelled
right?
correctly?
And he claims he was
Especially a
very
special occasion.
rushed to get out of the store at that time. However, the bakery's policy is to display the cake to the customer and
Yeah.
make sure everything is right before
Obviously
they
they
leave
do.
the bakery portion of the store.
Probably before they
That's why-
take the box.
That's why you
Yes,
have the
exactly.
clear. That's why they have the clear lid on the box.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I don't know how much of a rush or how distracted he could have been in to not notice that word on the cake, but.
So what do you think? You think there's a little bit of foul play here, that he may have actually written that on the cake himself?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know, it's not unheard of that somebody would perpetrate a hox in order to get a payday
Try to
He's a
exploit it.
from a big company. Yeah, he's a pastor.
He's a
That's
pastor.
unusual. You know, Wendys back in 2005, you know, fought against a woman who
Oh, the
claimed that she
finger.
found the finger in
In
the
the
chili.
chili, right?
They
Right.
said, no way, Jose, that did not happen. She ultimately was charged with fraud, and
Yeah.
she was convicted, and she had a history as a scammer, and she was sentenced to 9 years in prison
Yeah.
as a result of this extortion.
9 years in prison?
9
Wow.
years in prison. She was released in 2013, but she was reincarcerated for recharged and sent back to prison for
That's a
another
really serious
scam.
offense. I mean, it seems like, yeah, okay, well, it's just somebody looking for a quick payday.
Yeah, like there
They're-
was a bug in my hamburger
Yeah,
or something.
except-
You know,
if it goes much further than that, because we're talking about a very large company with a lot of restaurants around,
Yeah.
and that goes back to the reputation side of things.
and it's certainly a blow to your reputation if somebody's claiming that you put a homosexual slur
Oh my gosh,
on
that's
anything
horrible.
or a racist slur on anything. But this also speaks to the you know, nature of responding to this kind of thing when it happens. You know, a restaurant, an individual restaurant, when a customer claims they found something in their food, they would probably comp the meal in a minute.
Yeah, they remedy
You
it
know,
right there on the spot.
You know, most cases there wouldn't be a lawsuit against a corporate
Right.
entity, especially not a big organization like Whole Foods. But depending on the situation, and it differs with every situation, but companies might react in a whole continuum of responses ranging from defensive to what they call accommodative. Defensive meaning, hey, it wasn't us, or you know, it was an honest mistake, and you know, we stand by such and such. To accommodative, where it's a complete mea culpa. We screwed up. We're going to make it right. We're going to you know, issue certificates to customers or whatever. We're not going to wait for a lawsuit. We're going to take matters into our own hands and
Right.
issue rebates or whatnot. And along the continuum, there's all kinds of there's several different responses. There's denial, which is what actually a couple kind of blend together, but denial is one of the key ones that Whole Foods is taking here.
Right.
They're saying it didn't happen.
This didn't happen.
We didn't-
so, yeah.
Absolutely not.
We didn't do it.
Not the way he's saying.
There's justification where you kind of shift the blame over to the consumer. For example, they misused your product. You know, they used it for a
Right.
purpose that was unintended, and
Right.
it caught fire as a result.
Right.
That's on the consumer. We're sorry it happened.
Right.
But if you're not using it per the guidelines, you know, you're
Right.
taking your own
We
chances.
put the instructions right on the box. If they're
Yeah.
not doing that, then that's their own fault.
Right, and there's the apology / corrective action. You know, that's the mea culpa, and you say, we were wrong, we did wrong, we're going to fix this.
Right. How
Sometimes there's combinations of others, like it wasn't our fault, it was the act of a third party intent on doing harm to our image perhaps, or other people.
That's true, that does happen.
And we are going to take corrective action nonetheless. The classic example of that was Tylenol in the late 80s.
Yeah.
With the
Oh,
cyanide.
the
Yeah.
tampering, yeah.
The tampering.
Yeah.
And a company cannot be seriously blamed for an issue that was a result of a crazed person who wanted to kill people by tampering with their product.
This guy knows his stuff. His name is Gary Frisch. He is from Swordfish Communications. Gary, I want you to look into that camera right there and tell everybody out there how they can get in touch with you.
It's swordfishcomm.com. That's the website. It's 856-767-7772 is the phone number. Or just Google Swordfish Communications and you'll find me. But I was also just going to add that you know, young people today, you know, looking back at the Tylenol thing, young people today don't realize that the anti-tampering packaging that's on every product, every consumable product on the shelves, is a result of the Tylenol.
Yeah, that
Crisis.
specific event.
That
Yes.
specific event. Tylenol was the first to do that, to correct the situation. They pulled all their products from the shelves. They implemented the
They did.
anti-tampering, and that's, you know, what it's the new normal. I mean,
Well,
it's not so new anymore.
a lot of people
It's
thought it
normal.
was for the kids, and yes, that does help, but it wasn't designed originally. for
No,
that.
the bottle lids that are almost impossible to remove
just
are
talked
for
about
the
that earlier
are for the
today.
kids. Or for
Yeah.
the kids. The seals, you know, over every product.
Right.
Those are not. However, there's one interesting thing I've come across. One product that I open up and there's no safety seal on it routinely is ice cream. I buy a container of ice cream in the grocery store.
That's a good point.
The lid comes off. You know, the first time you take it off, it might take an extra heave to get the lid off. But usually there's no safety seal across the
Yeah,
top.
well, that's so that I could just rip the top off and then
Start
get my
eating.
spoon and just start
Yeah,
eating.
nobody wants to wait.
And that's
a
what
time-
it does at the grocery
Gary,
store.
that is a
But-
time
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that just seems kind of odd. Anybody can put anything they want in the ice cream aisle, and
Well, listen, if you have anything out there, you need to protect your reputation, you have any PR needs, you have anything you need,
or crisis that needs
or
mitigating.
crisis
Crisis
communication,
management
this
here.
guy is the guy to talk to. Gary Frisch from Swordfish Communications. Gary, thank you again for being here
Fun. Thank
on
you.
the Reputation Wrap on Morning Coffee. We got to take a quick break, but we will be right